Okay, so here's our unit, colloid surface chemistry. And these are three resources which you may want to use throughout the year. I've given them here for you in writing. They're not on the reading list in the library, but they're three books which are sort of pitched at different levels of understanding you'll find pretty useful for this unit. Okay, so why are we running this unit different? Laurence would have spoken a bit about this. We'll speak a bit about this on Monday. Well, one thing's for sure, this is going to be more interesting than normal classes that you have. One of the particular aims of this is to develop your teamwork skills. Those of you who've got part-time jobs know that you rarely work in isolation. And the formal part of your education here at Parkville mainly relates to you working by yourself, although you might form study groups or study teams outside, and maybe in practice you work in pairs. All of the work here will be done in groups. So the basis of this unit is that a fictitious company, but a company nonetheless, has contracted you to solve a problem and to write a strategy for their staff to follow in case this problem happens again. That strategy needs to include everything, the information, background information, theory, and so that you can show them that it's based on good information, it'll need to be fully referenced. The particular case of interest is an injectable suspension. Here are the details: particle size D50, 150 nm, heat sterilised at that temperature, stored for 4 weeks, and then afterwards there were particles noticed on the bottom of the sample bottle. This happens to be a real problem that was presented to us by a pharmaceutical company, and they contracted us to solve the problem. This is exactly the problem that they had with one of their formulations, and we needed to solve it. So you're going to go through the same steps basically that we did in a research sense. So that's the problem. You'll be working on that for the semester, and at the end of the semester you'll have come up with some reasons why it might have failed, some tips for further investigation that might be needed to work out exactly why it's failed, some advice for the company so that they don't run into this problem again, and of course explaining what the problem is or what the problems might be if you can't work out exactly which problem it is. The marking scheme for this, it is adjusted. Unfortunately, we've got a funny timeline here for things to happen in the unit book, but this is the marking scheme for this unit this year. It says in the unit guide there's an exam worth 60%. Well, in fact, that exam really means assessments worth 60%. 20% is for a 500-word article that you could publish in a newspaper such as The Age. There is 40% for your teamwork during semester. We'll talk about this more when I meet you face to face. There is 20% for other in-semester activities such as MCQs, oral presentation, and concept maps. And also there's a prac component, and the prac component is worth 20%. Okay, so this idea of this recording is just to give you an idea, a bit more of an idea of this unit. But we'll go into more detail about this and about other aspects of the unit when we meet face to face